Hi everyone, Devin Owens with the Garrett Music Academy here doing our weekly vlog, and this week we're talking about jobs in the music industry. So there is a bit of a misconception, I think, with a lot of people that think that if you're going to be in the music industry, then you have to be in a band, and it's not very lucrative, and you're never going to amount to anything, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And that is simply not true. There are so many different jobs in the music industry that a lot of people don't even know about. And I felt like it's a good idea for me to go through a lot of those so that anyone, that might be seeking a job in the music industry knows about all the different opportunities that are out there. I, of course, can't touch on all of them because we would be here all day if I tried to do that. But I'm going to touch on some of the main ones that I know a little bit about and some of the careers that I'm actually in myself. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one that we're going to start with today is music teachers. Whether you're teaching private music lessons or you're teaching in like a public or private school setting as a band director, a choral director, or a orchestra director, okay? There are all kinds of jobs for that. I myself am a private music instructor. I teach like one-on-one drum lessons and guitar lessons as well. And I have a lot of fun with it. It's a very rewarding thing to be doing because I have been able to make a positive impact in a lot of people's lives, whether it be for music or in other areas. I know that I've had some students that have taken lessons from me that have just done better in math in school because, there is kind of a math aspect to music. And I've worked with some children that have autism too, and I've seen, some students. I actually have a student right now that's been able to audition for All-County, Tri-County, and All-State, and he has gotten in. He's actually gotten through the auditions and played. So it's fantastic to really see, specifically him, see how he's been able to get through that and be able to do some amazing things, with just a little bit of my help. It was all him. I just kind of gave him the tools necessary to be able to do that. And I've been able to do that for a lot of students, and I'm really glad to be a part of that for them. So that's something that's been very rewarding for me, and it can be very lucrative, but you have to have really good time management. In fact, I'll just get this out of the way now. Most of the jobs I'm about to mention, you do need good time management skills, so if you don't possess that, then a career in the music industry may not be for you. The next one would be audio engineering, producing, mixing, mastering, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's another thing that I do. I actually work in the studio, if you haven't noticed, if you haven't seen any of the other vlogs already. I am an audio engineer, and it used to be like years ago when someone would come in to do an album in a studio. There would be like 4 different people, okay? You'd have the audio engineer, the guy who's setting up all the microphones, guy or gal, setting up all the microphones, getting all the equipment set up, making sure everything works properly. The producer who's helping to arrange the songs, work on lyrics, the mixer who, takes all the music created and can make it sound really, really good, and then the person who is mastering, who takes like all the different songs across the album, make sure that they're consistent in volume, that there's not big changes from one song to the next, and that, creates a whole cohesive album or EP or something like that. Nowadays, sometimes all those jobs are like one person. It's not super common for it to be one person, but that you do tend to see that a little bit more today than you would, 40, 50 years ago. But it definitely still happens. So that's definitely something, if you're into kind of the tech aspects of music, into working with computers, into working with gear and all that, and you enjoy that kind of thing, audio engineering might be for you. Or if you specifically like writing songs and arranging songs and things like that, it might be a good career to get into, to work with other bands and artists to help them create something. So, yep, just a couple different options out there for people that want to get into that. The next one would be music business. Okay, I know that there's a school in Nashville. Off the top of my head, I'm not quite sure what it's called, but I know that there's a school in Nashville that specifically offers education in music business. Okay, and that is like, once the album's done and you have all these songwriters involved and they all need to get their royalties. Well, how do you deal with all that? Well, most of the time musicians don't know how all that stuff works, so they need to hire somebody that knows that. If you're going to be out on tour, if you're in a band and you're going to be out on tour, you need a band manager who can help you, make sure that all that stuff is being, all the behind the scenes stuff is being taken care of properly, so you can just focus on playing your music every night, and not worry about all that kind of stuff. There are, legal aspects with that, all the money aspects with that, the management aspects. So, it's a good idea, like if you're into that kind of thing and you like music, that might be, a good career choice for you. The next one would be live sound engineering. Okay, if you've ever seen a live show and it sounds really good, and the guitars are in tune, and the drums are set up properly and not falling all over the place, then guaranteed they've got a live sound engineer, they have a guitar tech, they have a drum tech, they have people taking care of that kind of stuff so that the band doesn't have to worry about it. So that's something, if you're really into guitar and you're into traveling, or you're really into drums, or working with a live soundboard, and you're willing to travel a lot, travel all around the world, that kind of thing, that may be a good job for you. Okay, I mean, it's really fun. It can be kind of crazy sometimes, because in the live sound situation, if something goes wrong on stage, boom, you got to be able to hop in and take care of it, or figure out what's going on if you happen to be the live sound engineer. And there's plenty of jobs for that. One thing I will mention of a good way to get into doing that is cruise ships are in dire need of live sound engineers all the time. People that can handle that kind of stuff. So sometimes they require, a lot of the times they require somebody to have some prior experience. So, or schooling. So, if you happen to go to school for that, then one good way to get into that career path right away is on cruise ships. So, something to look into. Session musicians. Okay, what is a session musician? Some people hear that term from time to time. They don't even know what it is. Well, people like Taylor Swift, or I don't know, Paul McCartney, even Ozzy Osbourne, somebody like that. These artists need other people to play on their album, okay? They may not know how to play drums, or how to play bass, or how to play all these other instruments. So they need session musicians to come in and record that stuff for them. Okay, and there are all kinds of session musicians all around the world, and they've been around forever. If you've ever heard of the Wrecking Crew or the Funk Brothers, those were actual groups of people that would record whole songs for artists during the 60s and 70s and things like that. So that is a good career that you can still get into even today, and it's even easier for people to do that now, because some people do it directly from home. They have all their own recording gear directly at home, and they just kind of can send stuff through the cloud for their songs that they're recording. So that is definitely a possibility to look into as well. Of course, there are band members, right? That what I was talking about earlier. You can get into music playing in a band, touring around the world, writing albums, all that kind of stuff, okay? Or you could be in an orchestra, like the London Symphony Orchestra, New York Symphony Orchestra, things like that. So you can specifically play in those kinds of formats as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a band that's touring and writing albums, okay? There are other options for that. Keep that in mind. Another one that's becoming more popular now is music therapy, okay? I was talking about working with people that have special needs earlier, and that's something that is becoming more common now, where you can actually work with people that have special needs, specifically in the capacity of music therapy, okay? And that is something that I think is really, really important in that particular industry. So that is definitely something to look into, and there are a lot of schools that are offering programs for that now. So definitely look into specifically music therapy if you feel like you'd enjoy doing that kind of thing, working with people that have special needs. That can be a very rewarding career path for anyone. And finally, the last one that I'm going to mention here would be a music director for a church, or a church musician, or a live sound engineer for a church, okay? That is a definite career path. There are plenty of churches around the United States that are looking for people who can pick the songs. They can be there for all the services. They can play the music. They can, kind of be the band leader, make sure everybody is, doing what they're supposed to be doing and making sure that the songs sound good. The live sound engineer is there for all the services, making sure that everything on stage sounds good and that all the musicians can hear themselves in the monitors. There are the musicians themselves that just need to be really good and need to be able to improvise, need to be able to learn songs quickly. Sometimes within a couple minutes. I've had occasions where I kind of had to learn a song one time and okay, we're gonna play it next Sunday. I used to do that. So, and it was a lot of fun. I had a blast doing it, and when I was doing it, I actually wasn't getting paid for it, but there are paid gigs for that. Okay, so of course, I wasn't able to touch on all the possible music careers. There are all kinds of others, composers for film, conductors for orchestras and things like that. However, there is a website that you can go to. I just checked it out a little while ago. It's called careersinmusic.com/music careers. I'll put the link in the description below, and you can head over there and you can literally put in some criteria of like things that you want to do in music, and they'll give you schools that offer degrees in that specific thing, and they'll even show you like tons of career opportunities for whatever that specific thing is that you want to do. So I would highly advise checking that out if you want to get into a career in music. So I hope that today's video was helpful. If you have any questions about it, of course, shoot me a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you're on Facebook. If you have any questions about that or any comments, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And I hope that you have a safe and happy week. I will catch up with you on the next one. And until then, keep playing.